Welcome back to the channel, guys. Owner Arnas here, the owner of Passionate Income. I hope you like the scenery today. We're outside. Pretty cool. And today we're going to talk about how to grow your email newsletter with Instagram pages. Okay, so I'm not going to share my screen today because I'm literally sitting outside, but you can check it out. I have a brand called Passionate Income. It's on Instagram. And I have an email newsletter called thepassionateincome.com. And mainly I grew the email newsletter through my Instagram following, right? I have 1 million followers on Instagram, and I really leveraged those followers in the past year to grow my email newsletter, right? I actually run ads and use some different platforms, but it started off by just organically collecting emails, sending out an email list, and so on and so forth. And I wanted to share with you this experience because with some of you guys, I had a talk recently in the past week or two where I opened up my calendar and on Instagram I said, hey guys, if you want to work with me one-on-one, we can actually book a call and have a conversation, see if I can help in any way possible. And I got a lot of people who already have Instagram pages, faceless pages with a lot of followers, reach out to me on Instagram and say, hey, I really want to grow an email newsletter. I have no idea how. And can you help me with that? And we had a conversation. And I had 2 conversations like that in the past week. And I was like, oh, I guess the demand is way higher than I thought. So here you go. I'm coming with this video. So first of all, why start an email newsletter, right? So first of all, email newsletter subscribers are way, way, way more valuable than a follower on Instagram, on Twitter, on YouTube, whatever. Email subscriber is way more valuable, and you actually own that subscriber. You own your audience, basically. When you have an audience on Instagram, for example, Instagram owns that audience, right? You have no control over it. You cannot clean your followers, for example. You cannot segment your followers, right? You don't own the audience. All the data that you actually need or that would be useful for you, you don't own that data. Like Instagram or Twitter or whatever platform you're using actually owns that data. And when you own that data, you have way more leverage. You can sell to that audience way better, and it's just way easier to make money. So in my experience, I have some notes here. There's a 1-35 ratio between an email subscriber and an Instagram follower. It means one email subscriber is worth around 35 Instagram followers. So some people have just 1,000 emails and they're like, oh, that's not a lot. But if those 1,000 emails are actually active and they want to be on that list, it's the same as you would have 35,000 followers on Instagram. Just think about that, right? So email newsletters are extremely powerful. And I'm just basing all the numbers here on my knowledge, on my experience. Someone else's experience might be different. But I did all the numbers. I ran countless faceless brands. I ran countless different email lists and email newsletters. Email is king, and people don't utilize it enough. So it's way more valuable. And now we understand why we do an email newsletter, right? We do need to send out valuable content to that newsletter, right? Personally, I like to do 3 times a week. I think 3 times is a sweet spot where it doesn't piss off the reader that much, so they won't unsubscribe, but also you're still kind of in their face enough that you nurture them and you build trust quick rather than sending 1 email a week, right? 52 emails a year, it's not that much compared to 156 emails a year when you send 3 a week. So I started collecting emails myself way back in the day. I think it was 2022, the first time I started really collecting a lot of emails, thousands of emails, 5,000 emails, 10,000 emails, just organically through my Instagram reach. But I didn't see the value in it. I just collected a bunch, but I never sent out emails, or if I sent something out, it was like a promotional email. Never tried to build trust or nurture the people inside the email newsletter, right? Which makes sense. If you have no idea what you're holding in terms of value in your hands, you're not going to use it, right? But then I really like started working with different email newsletters, promoting them, and started talking with different people. And I remember this conversation I had with one of my mentors, Jeff. And I was talking with Jeff, and I told him, look, I want to grow my email list. And he said something magical to me that stuck to me to this day. And it really pushed me to move forward. He said, you know what, Arnas? The day I hit 100,000 subscribers on my email list, I knew that I will never go broke again in my life. And I was like, whoa, that's really powerful. Because when you think about it, you own your audience. Like, obviously, some changes will happen and you need to adapt. Like, for example, recently now with email, there are a lot of Yahoo and Gmail changes. And, you needed to add some stuff, you needed to tweak some stuff here and there. But in general, if you have 100,000 emails, of course, like 1% of those emails will just churn every month naturally. Like some email boxes go bad and so on and so forth. But if you can figure out a way how to keep adding people to that list, like you will never go broke again. And with 100,000 emails, you can really sell a lot. You can sell either your own products or promote other products. So, the advantage you have when doing organic marketing on Instagram is most of the bigger newsletters spend tens of thousands of dollars every single month to attract people to their newsletter, right? So their business model is very simple. They figured out a way, at some point, how to, let's say, earn $10 to $20, anywhere between that, per lifetime value per subscriber. So, for example, if they can buy a subscriber for $2 today, and they know that in the next year and a half, they're going to make $20 from that, that's a great deal, right? Obviously, you're not going to make $20 right away the first month as the subscriber joins, but they figured out the lifetime value, right? And it's just simple math, right? If you spend $10,000 and in the next year and a half or 2 years, you'll make $150,000 or $200,000 from that spend, it's worth to keep spending, right? That's why companies raise capital, and that's why they seek investment. They don't have that investment maybe yet. They raise capital, they spend money on ads, they figure out the lifetime value, and in software, that's called CAC, cost to acquire a customer. And in email newsletter world, we say CPA, cost per acquisition of basically an email subscriber. And LTV, we use lifetime value, just like in software. And if you can figure out those numbers, you can really spend money on ads. But when you start an email newsletter, you don't really know your LTV. You have no idea how much money is one subscriber worth for you in the next 2 years, for example, because you just started. It hasn't been 2 years yet, so you have no idea. You have no systems in place. You have no sales team. You have no product. It's very hard to figure out. So you don't want to spend too much money right away, unless you find a way to make that money back very quick. But usually people don't, right? They just start a newsletter, they start collecting emails, and then they figure out the rest later. So as you start growing your newsletter organically, it will be way more clear how much money you can spend to acquire a customer, how will you make money. But at first, it's going to be very hard to know how much money you can spend unless you have a lot of money to invest, right? So a lot of these newsletters spend crazy money, and I know. And I'd say the biggest advantage you have if you grow your newsletter with an Instagram following, Let's say you grow a page on Instagram and then you start an email newsletter. Let's say now you're at 50,000 subscribers, it's been a year or whatever. You really like grew the list, and 50,000 subscribers is nothing too crazy. I don't know why people, on Twitter think like 50,000 subscribers is something phenomenal. It's not. Like, if you take a look at simple internet marketing businesses, like there are people with millions of subscribers that you've never heard of before. Um, so 50,000 subscribers, very possible to achieve in like a year. It's like 4,000 subscribers a month. It's nothing crazy. Like 1,000 subscribers a week. You can definitely do it organically, with a few pages on Instagram. And let's say you start selling ads for your newsletter, because most of newsletters either sell their own product or they find sponsors or they do both, right? And the crazy thing is, these sponsors you sell, they have a lot of money. They have a big budget because they just raised capital, and they need to spend that money on marketing, right? Because they raised that capital and now they need to invest it somewhere. What you can do is, first of all, let's say you charge $500 for an ad. First of all, when you sell sponsorship ads, you'll probably try to close a bigger deal upfront. So you'll say, look, it's $500, but I can sell you 10 ads for $300 each. So you're getting essentially a 40% discount, and I'll charge you $3,000. But on top of that, and that's the advantage, I'll include Instagram promotions if you pay me another $1,000 or $2,000, right? And I just made this up on the spot, right? You can actually create a better offer. But basically what you can do is not only charge people for the newsletter ad, but you can also charge these companies for Instagram ad and an Instagram story, and create just this offer, which a lot of these people need, a lot of these companies need. You can also say, instead of saying, hey, all you'll need to do is send us an ad and we'll post it or whatever, you can say, hey, we'll create an amazing Instagram post about your company, and we'll give you the license, or we'll license it out to you for an extra $500 so you can use it in any other ad, on any other Instagram page. Also, we'll write the copy for your newsletter, right? We'll write everything for you. We'll do everything for you. All you need to do is just pay us the money, send us the affiliate link or whatever, the UTM tracking link of our campaign, and we'll write you a copy for the newsletter. We'll make you a post on Instagram. We'll do an Instagram story, and you can use all of that content, for however long you want. You own that content. You can use it freely, okay? You can really start charging $5, $6, $7, $10,000 per every startup you close, just like that. And that's only for 10 ads. Doesn't mean they're gone from there on. If they're happy with the results, you'll be able to charge more. And a lot of people don't understand, but you can really close 10 startups at the same time, and that's where the real money comes. The real money doesn't come from co-registration or promoting someone else's newsletter on your newsletter, or doing an affiliate, whatever. The real money comes in from actually collecting big cash, okay, and then partnering up with some software companies. If you can partner up with software companies as, let's say, a partner, I don't want to say affiliate, because affiliate would be anyone can sign up. But if you have a bigger audience, like 50,000 subscribers or more, and I do have more, really a lot of doors open up. A lot of software companies, they won't reach out to you, but if you reach out to them and say, hey, I want to have a long-term partnership with you, they will be more than happy to actually become a partner and give you a high percentage of their revenue if you bring them clients. And if you have a big email list, it's inevitable you will bring them clients, right? There will be a good fit on your list if you find the right company. And that's essentially how you make big money with email newsletters and Instagram account, because now you're a very interesting person. because there are a lot of newsletters out there, and there are a lot of Instagram accounts, but there are not a lot of people who have both. For example, I have that, and there are a few people out there who have the same thing, like big Instagram account and big email newsletter, but I have both, for example, and a lot of doors open up for me because I get people from internet marketing space reaching out to me from the Instagram side, and I get a lot of people from startup and tech and all like the tech space basically, or newsletter space, reaching out to me from the newsletter side. So I think it's a great idea, and the way you do it is very simple. Again, you grow a following on Instagram, and if you don't know how to do it, just watch my previous videos. I have so many videos about this, but you just post viral content. You don't need to show your face. You post viral content, you go viral, you create a following on your page, and then you promote your email newsletter in the same posts. That's it. You use stories, you use a story funnel. Watch a video on my channel. It's called how I use this story formula or whatever to make $100,000. You just literally copy ABCs. That's ABCs. Just copy the funnel, the story funnel I have. Just grow a following, copy the story funnel, and if you're smart enough, you'll figure it out. Like, it's gonna be simple. Another thing I wanted to mention is co-registration, right? So I don't know if you subscribe to any newsletters, but if you do, whenever you now subscribe to any email newsletter, you press subscribe, there's a widget that pops up. Do you want to subscribe to all of these newsletters? And by default, they're like, they're ticked as yes. So basically, if you don't read it and you just press yes, subscribe to all, you subscribe to other 5 email lists or 6 email lists. And they're valuable email lists. The owner of the newsletter who drove, the people to those 5 newsletters. Oops. The owner gets a percentage or a commission or whatever you want to call it, a CPA for every email subscriber. And on average, if you're doing all right, you'll make around $1 plus per every sign up. Okay. Every email that comes your way, they press subscribe to your newsletter and you get $1 back. Okay. And I've seen people claim crazy numbers like, oh, you can earn $25. No, that's just BS. Like, no. Theoretically, yes. If every single subscriber you drive to your newsletter is extremely, extremely active on all of those lists and they subscribe, yes. But on average, a good number is $1, $1.50 per email. Totally possible to do and scalable. Obviously, you'll see some numbers like people earning $5 per email. But that, okay, they drive 10 emails a week. Okay, you made $50. Congratulations, like $50 is nothing. So, co-registration, you basically get money right away when someone subscribes to you, and then you keep making money from them as you send the emails, which I love. I love that. And yeah, the last thing I wanted to mention, and I kind of mentioned it, but there's not a lot of people who have both email newsletter and an Instagram account. And if you have an Instagram account now and don't have a newsletter, your brand is it's worth something, right? But if you add a newsletter component to it, now your brand is really worth way more. Okay? And if you just look at recent acquisitions of newsletters, you'll understand that most of these newsletters have no social media presence or have little to no social media presence. Like, they don't have 1 million followers. So if you have that advantage, your company now is worth like 5 times more than it used to before you had a newsletter. So that's how you grow an email newsletter using an Instagram account. That's why you should do it, and that's why it's worth it. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.